Ladies and gentlemen, in this tutorial we will talk about something that can really shape the future of medical affairs. How we capture and use the data, facts, and observations coming in from our field teams. As most of us know that medical insights are gold. They come from MSLs speaking directly with healthcare professionals, from advisory boards, from congresses. But here's the challenge. These insights are often scattered, unstructured, and difficult to turn into actionable strategy. So how do we make sense of it all? That's where technology comes in. And today, we're comparing two key types of tools that can help medical affairs teams elevate the way we capture and analyze insights. We'll look at algorithm-based software versus machine learning systems. And I'm not just going to throw tech jargon at you. I want you to walk away knowing which one actually helps you drive strategy as a medical leader. Let's start with the basics. Traditional algorithm-based tools. You can think of these tools as rule followers. These systems do what you tell them. Nothing more, nothing less. For example, you could set a rule like, if the MSL selects efficacy in a dropdown, mark it as an efficacy concern. Simple. And for straightforward tasks like that, these tools work just fine. They're structured, predictable, and easy to implement. But as of the limitation, you only get out what you explicitly put in. If the MSL forgets to click the right keyword or types their note in a free text box, that insight might never get captured, flagged, or followed up on. So while these tools are good for operational checkboxes, compliance flags, auto-tagging, and form-based reporting, they're not really built to listen to the nuance in what field teams are hearing. Now let's shift to machine learning, which is a completely different mindset. Instead of following fixed rules, these systems learn patterns from the data. They can read free text notes, spot trends, recognize shifts in sentiment, and even identify observations that no one tagged, but that are strategically important. Let me give you an example. An MSL might write in a field note, Dr. Sarah mentioned she's seeing a drop in patient response to second-line biologics among younger female patients. A traditional algorithm-based system might miss this entirely, but a machine learning model, it can pick out keywords, analyze the context, and say, this sounds like an efficacy concern, potentially related to a demographic subgroup, and possibly a pattern that's showing up in other geographies too. That's powerful. So what is the real difference for medical leaders? Here's the big picture. Algorithm-based tools are like maps. They'll get you to a destination you already know. Machine learning, on the other hand, is like a compass that adapts. It helps you navigate uncharted territory, detect early signals, and prioritize where to focus next. If you're leading a medical affairs function, especially across multiple markets or therapeutic areas, you need tools that go beyond task tracking. You need systems that can uncover what's changing, where the conversation is headed, and how your team should respond. All right, let's get more practical by giving some hypothetical examples. Because so far, we've talked about the difference between algorithm-based systems and machine learning tools in theory. But what does this actually look like in your day-to-day medical affairs operations? To make this clear, I want to walk you through two scenarios for efficacy and two for safety, showing how each one is handled differently depending on whether you're using a traditional algorithm-based system or a machine learning-driven system. So, let's start with efficacy. Imagine this. Your MSL just came back from a meeting with a rheumatologist and logs the interaction in your CRM. They select from a drop-down menu. Topic: product efficacy. Concern: lack of response in elderly patients. That's it. 2 clicks and it's recorded. Sounds clean, right? Yes. But here's the issue. That system now assumes this concern is just a generic efficacy issue. It won't pick up on anything else: the context, the tone, or any specific contributing factors. If another MSL phrases the same concern differently, like limited benefit in older adults, the system might not even group them together. So what are you missing? Patterns, nuance, strategy. Now let's flip the same scenario with machine learning. Your MSL writes this in free text. Dr. Ahmed noted that patients over 60 are showing minimal improvement after 6 weeks on treatment, especially those switching from a JAK inhibitor. He's hesitant to increase the dose without seeing stronger real-world data. Now watch what happens with a machine learning system. It doesn't need dropdowns. It reads that note and recognizes efficacy concern in post-switch patients, age-specific trends, timeline of 6 weeks response, a request for real-world data support. And not only does it tag those details, it groups them with similar patterns in other notes, building a clearer strategic signal across geographies. That's the kind of insight you can use for a targeted evidence generation plan, or even a new advisory board topic. Let's now look at safety. In your CRM form, there's a checklist: injection site reaction, GI side effects, headache, and so on. Your MSL selects injection site reaction. Done. The system logs this as a routine safety concern. And yes, this works, especially for compliance tracking. But here's the problem again. There's no story. You don't know. How often is this happening? Is the severity increasing? Are patients worried? Are they stopping treatment? You just know a box was ticked. That's not enough for proactive safety information. Now the same safety scenario, but let's use machine learning. Here's what the MSL types. Dr. Ahmed shared that 3 of her patients reported a burning sensation after injection, more intense than expected. One patient even stopped therapy because she thought it was an allergic reaction. This wasn't seen in earlier visits. Now let the machine learning tool go to work. It identifies an unusual adverse effect, emotional response, patient anxiety, behavior risk, discontinuation, timeline, recent and unexpected possible emerging pattern, and it alerts your safety and PV teams to monitor this trend, not next quarter, but now. This is where machine learning shines. It picks up early warning signs and turns them into actionable insights before they escalate into brand or reputational risks. So, what's the bottom line? Let's be clear. Algorithm-based tools aren't bad. They're great for routine structure and speed, but they only work when you already know what to look for. Machine learning? It helps you discover what you didn't even know was happening. As medical leaders, the question you need to ask is, are we capturing field insights just to fill dashboards? Or are we capturing them to drive decisions? Because that one choice will decide whether your insights sit in a database or shape the future of your medical strategy. So, as a medical affairs leader, which one should you choose? If your current infrastructure is still maturing, sure, you might start with algorithm-based tools for structure. But if you want strategic visibility, real high-quality insights, then machine learning is the way forward. It scales better, learns from your own data, and reduces the dependency on perfect manual input. And remember, this isn't about replacing your MSLs or your analysts. It's about amplifying their impact. The goal is to take what's already in the system, emails, CRM notes, Congress summaries, and extract the meaning that matters. Finally, if there's one message I want you, as a medical leader, to take from this, it's that the insights are already there. The difference is whether your system can see them. Machine learning gives medical affairs a real edge by helping us move from reactive insight reporting to proactive strategic intelligence. So, as you think about your technology roadmap this year or next year, ask yourself not just what your team is capturing, but what your system is missing. How to stop losing value in free text fields and start converting those DFOs into decisions that matter. By answering these questions, you can get a clear idea on which tool your team needs at which stage. Thank you for joining this session. I truly appreciate your time and engagement. We'll be back soon with more practical insights to support your leadership journey in medical affairs. Until then, take care and keep learning.